Okay, today was Thursday, January 8th, and I did pretty well. Um, it was difficult. It's been a difficult week since I started the no sugar and no gluten. The beginning of the week was really hard. I think it was a lot harder than it has been at the end of the week. I guess because of my habits, the habits I had of just eating those things constantly, even though I didn't think I was. But now that I really stopped it, I realized how much I was really eating because that just this little bite here and just this little bite there, it adds up over the day and over the week. So when I envision how much sugar I was eating during the week, it's just unbelievable because I would have a half a candy bar here and half of a big sundae here because my daughter and I usually split everything. That's still a lot, especially for someone with high blood sugar. That's really irresponsible of me. So now that I completely cut that out, I realized how much I was eating. So I feel better in general. I don't have as much joint pain as I do when I'm eating gluten because I'm allergic. And I know a lot of people say that because it's just a popular thing right now that gluten is the enemy. And people say they're allergic just because they're overweight. I have a friend that says that anyone that's overweight is really allergic to gluten. That's not really true. I mean, I'm actually really allergic and I didn't want to believe it. I kept trying to eat the gluten. I've said this in other videos. For those of you who are seeing it for the first time, I'll condense it a little bit. This is the first video you've seen. I love bread and cookies and cake and cupcakes and pancakes and obviously because I didn't get overweight eating celery sticks all the time. A typical American diet contains all those things and it's really hard to exist in a society if you're not going to eat those things. So I kept rationalizing. I'll have half of a biscuit at this restaurant. I'll have half of a cookie here. I'll eat in moderation. But when you're allergic, that doesn't work. It doesn't because you're taking allergens into your body that cause inflammation. Okay, some people with gluten problems, like severe gluten problems, have diarrhea and stomach pain and all kinds of things. I don't have that. What I get is inflammation and joint pain. And it's pretty immediate and pretty extreme until even I had to admit that I was allergic. I couldn't be in denial anymore. I went to a restaurant with my sister. We split a biscuit. I had stayed away from gluten for calorie reasons for a few days. So sometimes you don't realize the pain is gone until you get it again. So I just took for granted how much better my joints were feeling. So I was sitting at the table and I ate that. I even ate half of that half because again, I was thinking in moderation. I just had a couple bites, like 1/4 of a biscuit. And when I got up to use the bathroom, my joints hurt so bad. It was so hard to get up from that chair because I'm overweight too. So it was really hard to get up. My knees, my hips, my ankle, every joint hurt, especially the weight bearing ones. And when it's that drastic of a change, I had to face it. And I talked to my doctor about it, and he said that's a form of an allergy. Different people's body reacts different ways. Well, mine reacts with inflammation, which causes joint pain. So I that's why I pick gluten. And I really do have a doctor verified allergy to it. It's not just I'm jumping on the gluten-free bandwagon. Um, and the sugar, obviously, if you have high blood sugar, you shouldn't be eating added sugar, which I do. I'm on metformin, um, which I like to get off of. Not that it's a terrible, terrible drug, but I don't really like to take a lot of medicine, and I already do for my blood pressure. Again, which goes hand in hand with being overweight. I'm 52, which the toll that being overweight, 100 pounds overweight is taken on my body is starting to show in those ways. So I've had to add cholesterol medicine, which worked, thank goodness. I've had to add metformin to my blood pressure medicine, and that's quite a lot. And I have asthma. I Not a big fan of taking medicine, but I will admonish any of you that need it, take it, because high blood pressure medicine and the effects that come with it are a lot milder than the side effects of a heart attack or a stroke. I learned that from my doctor. I can't take credit for that. That's what he told me. He said, okay, well, I'd say it causes side effects, and he would just patiently listen and then say, well, you know, the side effects of a stroke and a heart attack will be much worse than the side effects you're complaining about because you have high blood pressure and it's quite high. Um, Same with my cholesterol, it was pretty high. I will share what I took. The Lipitor is horrible, horrible, horrible. The side effects that the commercial talked about, the muscle weakness, when I tried that, I had that times 10. I had trouble holding my head up. Really, it was that bad. I had trouble breathing. It was extreme muscle weakness. My mom took me to the emergency room because I had trouble breathing and moving. And that's what they told me it was. I didn't know it was that. I didn't know it could cause that extreme a reaction. So then they told me, again, went through my medications and told me it was probably the Lipitor because it was new and it causes that. So I can't take Lipitor anymore or the statins. I'm allergic to them. I'm allergic to strange things, but I'm allergic to statins and gluten. So anyway, I went without cholesterol medicine for years and years, and my cholesterol, just because I'm 100 pounds overweight, was getting higher and higher. My doctors were really concerned, and they would keep saying, well, maybe we could try it again. You know, you might not. And I said, no, no, not going to go there, because that having trouble breathing and holding my head up was very uncomfortable. I don't want to do that again. I'll keep trying and diet, but I just kept not being successful. So then I went to a cardiologist because my doctor was so concerned about my combination high blood pressure and high blood sugar and high cholesterol. And he tried Zetia. He said Zetia does not work the same. Zetia is not a statin. And my other doctor said, let's try the metformin. And it worked. My cholesterol went from 289 to 205 with the Zetia and the metformin. And that's not losing any weight. And that's not changing my eating drastically. I go again to the endocrinologist to get checked in February. So we'll see. We'll see how this experiment of no sugar and no gluten has done for my numbers. I should start, maybe I'll tomorrow talk about that. Because it'd be interesting to see the health effects besides losing weight. Because a lot of people struggle with health problems of being overweight, especially at my age, 52. Um, it's a double thing. When I was younger, it was all about how I looked. But now that I'm older, it's how am I going to live the rest of my life? Am I going to live sick and on medicine and end up in a nursing home and on a walker and cane way before my time and sedentary and sitting around and dependent on other people? That's not for me. Or am I going to have a vital and robust, healthy, active, enjoyable older age, like a couple of my doctors that I really respect and admire, and some friends of mine, and my dad? That's what I want. That's what I want. That's the life I want to live. Well, it's a choice, and I had to wake up to the fact that it is a choice. So anyway, enough of my kind of preachy mode. Um, I'm going to talk about what I ate today. My tastes have kind of changed. I've kind of overdone the carbs the first part of the week, but I think as my body is detoxing from the gluten and the sugar, I don't know, my tastes have changed. Usually I have an apple for breakfast. Well, today I wanted eggs. I had 2 eggs, fried in a little butter, fried over easy, and 2 strips of bacon, and a cup of what I call Mexican coffee, which is decaf coffee, and a scoop of cocoa powder, unsweetened cocoa powder, cinnamon, and some stevia, and a little bit of cream. It was delicious. It went very well with my eggs, I have to say. And I drank my lavender water. And then I did not eat between breakfast and lunch. And for lunch, I had um, I guess the chocolatey Mexican coffee kind of gave me a craving for it. I made cream of rice with cocoa and stevia and cream and butter. But I try to, kind of have small amounts of the butter and cream. So I had that for lunch. And I also had some celery with peanut butter and raisins. I kind of ate that until I was full. I had a little cup of yogurt. I mean, cottage cheese, sorry. I had cottage cheese, low-fat cottage cheese, the prepackaged servings. And I had one little slice of apple my daughter gave me, 1/4 of her apple. So that's what I had for lunch. And then I wasn't sure what I was going to eat for dinner. I ended up eating a whole cup of, I buy the unsweetened Greek yogurt, the 2%. I had a cup of that with 7 packages of stevia and a cup of blueberries, and it was delicious. I think there was a lot of calories, but it was delicious and it was high in protein. So I ended up having that. And I had 3 more stalks of celery with peanut butter and raisins. And I had a container of the chocolate pudding, the sugar-free chocolate pudding. So that was an interesting dinner, but it still had vegetables, a celery, and some fruit and some protein, which was the Greek yogurt. So I don't think I did too bad. My cravings weren't that bad. So I'm interested to see how my weigh-in goes tomorrow morning. So I'm going to cut this short because I have a doctor's appointment, so I'm going to say goodbye.